Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Tessie. If you want to learn how to make this dress, this is the tutorial. Stay tuned and do not forget to subscribe. So I folded my pattern paper into two and we'll be working on the front pattern first. So this will serve as the starting point. I'll be taking my shoulder measurement divided by 2. So my shoulder divided by 2 will give me 8 inches. So I have 8 inches here. I'll come down to the armhole line. My armhole is 9 inches. My bust point is 11 inches. My underbust is 14 inches. My waist is 17 inches. So I'll go ahead now to connect these lines. Added extra 7 inches for my bust. So guys, as you can see, I have my chest line, bust point, underbust, waist, and my bust. So I'll be taking my neck measurements. So I'll be using 3 inches and I'll come down by 1 inches for my shoulder slope. Now I'll go ahead to connect the lines together. I'll be checking what I have here. I have 8 inches divided by 2 will give me 4, which I have here. Then I'll come in by half an inch. Then I'll take my bust measurement divided by 4. My bust divided by 4 will give me 9.5, which I have here. I'll go ahead now to curve in my armhole. So what I'll be doing next is I'll be taking my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2 inches. My nipple to nipple is 8 inches divided by 2 will give me 4. I'll chalk 4 inches on all the lines. Now I'll go ahead to connect the lines. So what I'll be doing now is on the underbust, I'll come in by 1 inch on both sides. Now I'll connect this line straight down to the length of the top. So what I'll do next is connect to the bust point. Using my curve ruler, I'm just going to connect. On the chest line, I'll go up by 2 inches. You can choose to leave it this way, but I don't want it too exposed. So I have to come up by 2 inches or you can come up by 1 inches. It depends on your preference. So I came up by 2 inches, which I have here. Then I'll connect this line to this. I'll be coming in by 1 inch on both sides. So what I'll do next is connect them to the bust point. So after doing that, this is what I have, as you can see. So on the chest line, I'll come in by half an inch. Then I'll connect that half an inch straight down to the bust point. So what I'll do is connect from the bust point to the under bust. So what I'll do now is curve in my neckline. So I'll be giving it a sweetheart neck. So after doing that, we are done with this side of the cup. So we'll be working on this other side. So I'll check the distance between the bust and the under bust. So the distance is 3 inches. I'll be adding extra 1 inch to it. You can choose to add half an inch. The reason why we are adding 1 inch to it is because the bust is fuller on this part than on this area. So I added 1 inch to it, which will give me 4. So I have my 4 inches on this point. Now I'll go ahead to curve from this point to this point. Now connect from this point to this point. So what I'll be doing next is I'll be curving in this point. So guys, this is what we have. You can go ahead now to just blend this part in. As you can see, I have my yoke ready. So what I'll be doing next is I'll be taking my measurements. On the chest line, I'll take my bust measurements divided by 4, which I have 9.5. I'll replace back the 2 inches that we took on this point. And I'll also add my 2 inches sewing allowance. On the waistline, I'll take my waist measurement divided by 4. So my waist divided by 4 will give me 8 inches. I'll replace back these 2 inches that we took. And I'll be adding extra 2 inches for sewing allowance. So now I'll go ahead to connect these lines together. So what I'll be doing is I want a V effect on this part of the pattern. So I'm just going to curve from this point. I'm just going to come straight down. But before doing that, I'll just come down by half an inch. Then connect it this way. Then from this point, I'm just going to go straight down. So this is what I have, as you can see. So what I'll do is just stick out my darts. So for the yoke area, it depends on how wide you want that area to be. As for that picture, they slanted from this point straight down to somewhere here. So this place is very wide. But for mine, I don't want it too exposed. So I'm just going to, from this point, I'm just going to slant it to this dart leg here. So I'm just going to slant from here to this point. You can choose to slant from here to this point. So it all depends on your preference. So I'm just going to slant from here to this point. So this is what I have for the yoke. So this place, I'll be taking it off. So this will be my yoke. So guys, after slanting from this point to this point, this is what I have. I'll go ahead now to cut out my pattern. Before doing that, I'll label this as my number 1 and this my number 2 for the cup. So guys, I'll go ahead now to cut. So guys, for the back, as you can see, I folded my pattern paper into 2. I have my shoulder line, I came down to the chest line, and my waist, that's my half length. So what I'll be doing now is I'll be taking the neck measurement. So I'll be using 3 inches for the back as well. Come down by 1 inches for my shoulder slope. I'll go ahead to connect the lines. Note, I am not adding zip allowance to it. I am adding a loop. So I'll check what I have here. I have 8 inches divided by 2 will give me 4. So what I'll do is just curve out my armhole. So on the chest line, initially we came up by 2 inches on the front pattern. So I'll also come up by 2 inches on the back. So I'll go ahead now to connect the lines. So what I'll do now is I'll take my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. My nipple to nipple is 4 inches. I'm just going to chalk it on the chest line and straight down to the waistline. Now I'll go ahead to connect my lines. I'll be coming in by half an inch for my darts. So I came in on this side by half an inch and also come in here half an inch. I'll go ahead to connect it straight up. After doing that, I'll be placing my measurement and I'll be placing back the darts. So on the chest line, my bust measurement divided by 4 will give me 9.5. I'll be adding 2 inches for my sewing allowance, which I have here. On the waistline, I'll place my waist measurement divided by 4, which is 8 inches. I'll replace back this 1 inches dart. And I'll be adding 2 inches for sewing allowance. This is it. So now I'll go ahead to connect my lines together. So this is what I have for the back. So what I'll do now is I'll be taking some inches off since I'm adding a loop on the back. So I'll just chalk 1 inches on the chest line, and on the bust point I'll be chalking 1.5 inches. So I'll go ahead to connect. So this is what I have. So I'll be taking this part off. So guys, after doing that, I'll be taking this part off. Then I'll be attaching my loop on this side of the pattern. So this is what it looks like. So guys, after doing that, what I'll do is from this point, I'm just going to connect it straight down here. So guys, we are done with the back part of the dress. I'll go ahead now to cut out the back. So guys, after cutting out the back, this is what it looks like, as you can see. So guys, after cutting out my fabric, this is what I have, as you can see, for the front. What I did was I added paper stay to the main fabric and on the lining as well. I did the same thing for the center front. Now on the cuffs, what I did was on the main fabric, I added wording to it because I will not be adding already made cup. I won't be adding cup to it. So I just added wording and I stitch all round. So you can go ahead to iron it, anyone that works for you. So as you can see, I have wording on it and I also have wording on this one. Then on the lining, I have paper stay on the lining. So what I'll be doing now is I'm going to be joining. So I'll take this aside. Then I'll be joining the center front and the sides. So I'll place the side on the center front and I'm just going to stitch half an inch straight down. And I'll also do the same thing for this part. I'll place it and stitch half an inch straight down. After doing that, I'll do the same thing for the lining. So to join the cup, for you not to get confused, you can just, you're joining this part and this part together. So you can just notch this area. You can choose to notch it. You notch the lining as well. You also notch the other one. And you notch the lining as well. Just like this. So it will be easier for you. So what you need to do is just take this aside. So you're joining the notched part together. So you're placing this and this together. Then you're stitching half an inch straight down. You take this and this. Then you stitch half an inch straight down. You also do the same thing for the lining. You take this notched part and this notched part. You place them together. Then you stitch half an inch straight down. You also do the same for this. You place them together this way. Then you stitch half an inch straight down. So guys, after stitching, this is what I have. As you can see, my cups are ready for the main fabric and I also have my cups for the lining, as you can see. So guys, after stitching, this is what I have for the front part and also I have the lining as well. So what I'll do now is I'll be attaching the cup to the main fabric. So you take your cup, make sure this line is meeting with this line. You place them together and you stitch straight down here. After doing that, you stitch also straight down here. You do the same thing for this other cup as well. Make sure the lines are together. Then you stitch. I'll stitch and show you guys what it looks like. So guys, after attaching my cup to the fabric, this is what it looks like, as you can see. So what I'll do now is iron. I'll go ahead now to iron the fabric. For the lining, before attaching my cup to the lining, what I'll do is I'll be adding my boning. So you can use this plastic boning or you can use this original boning. So you just place your boning on it this way and you cut. You don't allow the boning gets to the end of this part because we'll be stitching. So you place your boning in any form that you want. If you don't want to use this particular boning, you can use this type of boning. What you need to do is create a casing for it. You open your bias, you place it in the direction that you want, you stitch it down, then you insert your boning inside. So I'll go ahead to place my boning on my fabric and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So guys, after joining my cup and ironing my boning, this is what it looks like for the lining. Now on the main fabric, I'll be attaching my yoke to it. So I've gone ahead to double my yoke. I want it double. This is what it looks like. So I'm just going to place, so this is what it will look like, as you can see. So this is what the yoke will look like. So what I'll do is I'll place it on top of the main fabric this way, and I'll run a stitch. I'll place this one as well, and I'll run a stitch. Then I'll stitch it. Then I'll stitch here too. Then after doing that, I'm just going to place the lining on top of it, and I'll run a stitch all the way down to this point. So guys, for the back, as you can see, I've added my boning on the lining. This is what it looks like. So before adding my yoke, I will just place this fabric on this loop area. So I cut out 4 inches. As you can see, I folded it into 2, and I'm just going to place it here, and I'll also do the same thing for this part. Then after placing it, I'm just going to run a stitch on this part, and I'll also run a stitch here. Turning the back, this is what I have. As you can see, I went ahead to attach my loop at the back. So now for the front, this is what it looks like. So guys, for the top, I'll be attaching it to the skirt to make it a gown. So as you can see, I have my skirt, I have the front part of the skirt. So I folded it into 2 this way, and I'm just going to fold this into 2 as well. So guys, what I will do is I'll place the top part on the skirt area this way. I'll come down by 1/2 inch, as you can see. So I'll just sketch what I have here. So I'm just going to sketch. So as you can see, this is what I have. Now I'll be cutting the skirt area. So you don't cut on that line. Cut a bit up. Come up a bit, like 1/2 inch. So I'll open it up this way. This is what I have. So this is what it will look like. So I'll go ahead now to stitch. So guys, after stitching, this is what I have, as you can see. Now I'll go and work on the back area. So guys, after joining, I went ahead to attach my zip, as you can see. So what I'll be doing now is I'll be joining the front and the back together. So guys, I have attached my sleeve to the dress. So what I'll do now is just shape. I'll go ahead to take my measurements, and I will shape it straight down. After doing all of that, I'm going to weave and show you guys what it looks like. So guys, this is the final result. You can see how beautiful the dress looks on my client. She loves it. I'm happy, and we are all happy. Hope this tutorial was helpful. Please do not forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, drop a comment, and I will see you guys in the next class. Bye.